Good afternoon to you and welcome to the show. My name is Alex MacPhail. I love talking about high performance teams, and today I've got a very special guest. The Patrouille de France is the oldest formation aerobatic team in the world. They've got a wonderful show, 9-ship formation aerobatic team. Today I'm joined by the leader of the Patrouille de France. Please stay with me. Sam, how are you doing today in Salon-de-Provence? Welcome to the show.
Hi Alex, I'm very fine. Very nice day with beautiful sun. So very happy to participate to your show, Alex.
Okay, good. Just as a nice teaser, I want to put this up here, a nice little video, which is the background and the sort of intro to your official Patrouille de France YouTube channel. So let's have a little look at this. Wow, exciting stuff. So, Major Samuel Lanos, you are the current leader of the Patrouille de France, the 2020 season. But let's go back a bit. For those who don't know you, let's go back to the beginning. As a child, were you obviously excited by aviation, watching the air shows from the behind the fence as a kid, and then joining the Air Force? So, tell me about the beginnings. Where did it all start for you?
So when I was very young, as many young people, I dreamed about to become a fighter pilot because my father used to take me in his little aircraft and he used to bring me up in many meetings and air show in France. So I was really decided to become to one of a fighter pilot in the French Air Force. So I worked hard for that. I entered the French Air Force Academy in 2004, and then I had my wings in 29er, and then I've been flying the Mirage 2000C for 3 years and a half. There I became a 2-ship leader, and after that I went on a Rafale squadron. So I stayed 4 years on Rafale C, single seat, and I became a 4-ship leader. And I finished my career on Rafale C with being for 2 years flight commander in a specific squadron called Experimentation Squadron. So we do all the test flights concerning the fighter aircraft in the French Air Force. And then finally, I decided as well to enter the patrouille to try to enter the Patrouille de France. So it's now my second year here. I've been the number 4 during my first year, like a slot, and now I'm the leader. It's the way it works here. So every year there's new pilots who enter the Patrouille de France to be the number 4, and he's said to be the future leader the year after. So now I'm at the head of this brilliant team. It's not easy every day, but it's really amazing to do what we do here, and especially because it's like really a teamwork, and it's the first reason why we are really happy to enter the Patrouille de France.
Okay, great. Now, you've mentioned a lot of interesting things there, and there's so much we can talk about. I just want to highlight just a couple of things there. Firstly, as we've spoken before, and this is not very well known. In fact, I think you might be the only display team who operates this way. There's 2 distinct career paths for an Air Force pilot in France, one being a contract pilot, and the other being a career officer. And tell me the essential differences as when you join the Air Force. What are your opportunities or your expectations, or how long you're going to be in the Air Force? What are those distinctions?
Yeah. So you're right. We have 2 ways to become fighter pilot in French Air Force. So as a career officer or as a contract pilot under contract. So you can choose your way, but you don't pass this. You don't have to. You don't have the same exams. Okay. And when you become a career officer, so you're supposed to fly in operational unit, operational squadron, for 15 years. And after that, you're supposed first to have some responsibility in it, like flight commander, like squadron commander or wing commander. And after that, you're supposed to go in the headquarters and all the staff to conduct the way the French Air Force goes. But if you are pilots under contract, the selection is a little bit easier because it's only dedicated to see if you have the ability to learn fast, and that's it. So when you're like under contract, you only can stay 20 to 22 years maximum in the Air Force, but you will spend all your years in operational unit as a fighter pilot, of course. But normally you will not have. You will have less responsibility. You're not supposed to become flight commander or squadron commander. So in Patrouille de France, we have these two types of origin. Okay, so the number 4, the slot, and the leader must be career officer and only career officer, and all the wingies. So number 2, number 3, number 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, they are under contract, and as they are under contract, they can't pretend to become the leader. That's why. That's the way we work.
Okay, so it's quite a specific way of doing things. It's unique, and it's a system. Obviously, being a very old, the oldest display team, it obviously works for the French Air Force. But I just thought it was fascinating that you've been identified in the selection to be a leader in the Air Force, whether it's at a squadron level, the Patrouille de France level, and later on in the headquarters level. And that plays through with the demonstration team. That's fascinating. Okay, so you also then you went through your career. You were a fighter pilot, wonderful airplanes, Mirage 2000, Rafale C. Is it a requirement for the Patrouille de France that you're a fighter pilot? Some air forces allow various musterings, the different helicopter transport. In the French Air Force, it's fighter pilot for the Patrouille de France.
Yeah, you're right. And moreover, for sure, we have to be fighter pilots to pretend to enter the Patrouille de France, but we must be as well 4-ship leader, and we must have at the minimum as 1,500 flying hours before coming here. So, in fact, all of us are 4-ship leader and experimented pilots.
Okay, that's great. So it sets the tone.
That's right. Of course, it can seem a little bit selective, but maybe it's because we are the oldest patrouille in the world, I don't know, but the way we work here, it's like sometimes old stuff things, but we appreciate this way to do.
The tradition lives on strong, and obviously you have a large jet formation aerobatic team. There's a certain level of a base level of competence, of ability, and that's the entry requirement. Okay, so now let's talk specifically about then the Patrouille de France. Now you get to this level of qualification, and you mentioned every year you have 3 new posts, new people coming in. Yeah. How do you go about identifying? If I'm a pilot in the Air Force and I want to join the Patrouille de France, how do I apply? What is the process? And how many people do you look at each year for these posts?
So each year, as you mentioned, we have 3 pilots who leave the patrouille and 3 new pilots we come in the patrouille. And as everybody is fighter pilots and 4-ship qualification, etc., we don't request any technical skill to choose our successor or the future pilots. So each year, around 10-15 pilots are volunteer to come with us, and first the Air Force will do some. We will select some people to allow them to come in, and so after that we have roughly 10 to 15 guys. So we ask them to come visit us for only one day, and so they come 2 by 2 or 3 by 3, but not, of course, all the people together. So they will spend with us one full day. So with the two flights, with the middle, with the sports training, and finally we'll have a discussion. So one candidate versus the whole team. So the idea is just to have a human feeling between us, because we are convinced that every fighter pilot in the French Air Force can fulfill the formation, the winter formation, if he can listen from the beginning. So that's the main specific points we try to find on each candidate. First, can he do the job with the team? So is there a good feeling with this guy? And is he able to learn from the beginning? So from the taxiing, from the takeoff, from everything to the end, to the like the canopy open, we can debrief it. So here we debrief everything. So we want guy to be a listener, of course.
Okay, that's great. I love that concept of you've established that everyone has a base level of ability and that people can learn. And now you essentially spending a whole day in discussions, in exercise, in meals, and the one-on-one conversations, the new candidate with the whole team discussion, and just really seeing, do we fit in? Do we gel? Are we going to spend the next 2, 3, 4 years together on the road? We're going to be sharing hotel rooms. We're going to be in the bus together, in the briefings. And that's a great approach. And do you see the passion already at that point? Is that where do you see the passion lighting up in the candidate's eyes? And is that one of the things you're looking for in these days with your potential new candidate?
Yes, of course, but mainly all the candidates got the passion. They have the passion in mind, of course. But as it's really important day for them, sometimes and most of the time they are quite stressed, you know.
Sure.
They are, it's really important, so there is not big loss between us during this day. Even if we know the guy before, sometimes we have been flying with them in our operational units, but once they come in here, they have to do, they have to be liked by all the team, so it's really important. So it's really specific. Sometimes it's not so good moments, because it's like wow, we've got we can have some people very interested in it with a passion in their eyes, but something doesn't match, and it's we can't select the guy.
Okay.
So we know that many of them is going to be really disappointed, but that's the job, and that's the way it is.
Okay.
As you can see.
Sam, okay, then so now you've gone through the selection process, you've spent the day, you found the person, and then they get the go-ahead. You say, you are our new number 2, number 3 for the season, and then they leave their squadron, they come and join you in the salon-de-provence, and now you go into your winter training. So the winter time in Europe is where you build, and you get ready for the next season's summer show. So talk us through that training camp. What does that look like? How does that work for the new candidates?
But first, they will have 3 weeks as a formation flying as a 4-ship flight, okay, like only by one box. And it's for them to discover the way to fly in the Patrouille de France. But of course, as they're only a 4-ship, we consider that no precision really is really expected at this time. We only want them to be safe, okay? And once they have spent these 3 first weeks as a 4-ship flight, everybody come back from the holidays, and we start as a 8-ship, and we're sure that the brand new pilots gonna be safe with the rear box behind them.
Okay, and then once you've gone through the 4-ship mode, then how long is your training camp in the sort of early stages of the new candidate before you're able to fine-tune the actual display and the last part? How long is that initial stage for a newcomer to the team?
So everybody has to train for middle of October to middle of May. So everybody, it's a 6 months training for everybody, in fact. So at the first time of the training, there is only 3 weeks dedicated to the new pilots. But after, everybody will learn a new role in the team, because everybody slides from one position to another one. So, for example, in December, everybody is learning at his new position in the patrouille.
Okay.
Even the leader.
Even the leader, yeah. You've moved forward now and you're taking control of this. Okay, I'm going to just put up a nice picture here. You've told me before that you're an 8-ship display, but sometimes you call it Big 9. And here's a big picture of Bastille Day where the team's coming over in the colors. Talk us through the sort of the pride of the team. That's in the middle of the year. It's middle of summer. You guys are slick. Yeah. You've trained good. And now Bastille Day, you get to demonstrate the colors of France.
Yeah. So, of course, the Bastille Day is really important for a team during the season. We can think it's only a flyby as a night ship, but as you can imagine, as we are opening the ceremony, we are overhead our brothers in arms over the Champs-Élysées with the French president and many people looking at us. It's really important to do a really good flyby at this time, and we are of course very proud because we are military, we are fighter pilots, we are in the French Air Force, so to serve our country is really important, as you can imagine. So to fly with a French flag and to do a big French flag in the sky over at Paris, moreover, it's of course really important for us.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so now a great, as you say, you're French Air Force, you're a fighter pilot, you've got the distinction of delivering with precision, but of course everything begins at the briefing. So I want to play this little video clip here. It just shows you one of the briefings that you guys, a typical example. This is not you briefing, but this is a typical example of a Patrouille briefing.
Eh bien, ici, nous sommes en 34 bleu spécial périlavers moyen. Orange est toujours fermé. À Avignon, tu vas avoir de bonnes conditions avec un petit flux du nord.
Formation.
Plus 2. Augmente la clean ouvert.
Je monte un clean, moins 2.
Okay, so wonderful things there, and it's great now. The shot behind you is the same board. You're in that briefing room now. You've got the picture behind you. Your helmet's ready there. The aircraft all positioned nicely, and I see there's some. The pilots are sitting and they mentally flying through the show. You're being briefed at the same time. There's those hand movements. Talk us through what a briefing is like and what it's now for you as the leader of the team now to be briefing your men and getting ready for the show.
Yeah, so we always brief the mission the same way. So first we talk about weather, aircraft, disponibility, contingencies, and so on. And we finish by what we call the music. The music, it's when the leader speaks and he speaks what he's going to say in the aircraft for all the pilots of the team to mentally imagine being in the cockpit and to do exactly the good thing with the stick and the throttles. Because, for example, if I call cadence, cadence bien, cadence encore, cadence mieux, cadence plus, cadence toujours, everybody knows that I will put I will use my trim 5 times, so they know that if they are in the good position, if they use a trim like me, they will stay in the position. And for the same for the throttles, I can say the réajuste un poil, so we adjust a little bit, we adjust more, so they know that they have to put 1% more on each engine, 2% more, or sometimes 3%. So it's really really precise, and it's what is interesting. It's nowadays many people, many sportsmen train like this, so they think about their competitions mentally to be sure to be in the right conditions when they begin. So we do the same here, and we do it since 20 or 30 years, I guess.
Okay, it's wonderful. Yeah.
So everybody is listening to me, and just imagine they are in the aircraft, and so that's why you've got some people looking on the right side, the other one is looking down, and it's really interesting to assist at this.
No, it's great, Sam, and I love it. I've managed to sit in on one of your briefings as well when we were together in 2010, and it's a wonderful experience to see professionals in the zone, ready and going through that mental rehearsal. It's as good for your brain and the stimuli to actually to as if you're in the display itself, so that when you get into the display, it's like it's the second time you're doing it, and that's great. And then, as you say, during the display, you're giving the precise information for your wingman. The communication is key, and it's just a wonderful thing to see this the slick, the professionalism, and the discipline that goes through with it. I want to put up a picture here of the Concorde formation. It's a beautiful undershot going into the loop. Talk us through some of this is the Concorde formation, a picture up now, you can't see it, but talk us through some of the various display, the formation postures that you have. This one is very iconic, it's recognizable, of course the French are involved. And what other ones stand out for you?
So in fact we have 15 different type of formations, but all the formations are coming from two main formations. The first one is the diamond as a H shape, okay, and the second one is Concorde, as you can see on your screen. So, so every formation we use in Patrouille de France, there is either a diamond base or a Concorde base. So you just have to look of the four ship of the front box. So leader, number 3, number 4, and number 2. And if the wings are close to the leader, it's a diamond formation base. And if they are just on the wings on the number 4, you can conclude that it's coming from a Concorde formation.
Okay, great. And another.
So for example, you've got a picture of the Sting formation. We call it TAR.
Yeah.
It comes from the Concorde base. Of course.
Okay. Now another nice thing is you mentioned going into Paris for Bastille Day. You have air shows all over the place. You tour Europe as well. Here is a photo going over Sacré-Cœur in Paris. Another nice formation, but nice distinct colors. The aircraft are painted so nicely. You've got 3 bold, bright colors in the flag, in the uniform, in the smoke. That really just adds that something special. Talk us through some of your fond memories of displays all over the place. We've got pictures over the water in France, in Croatia, etc. Tell me about some of your interesting tours and displays and different air shows you've been to.
Yeah, but during one season we perform around 45 or 50 air shows. So it's hard to remember all these places, of course,
sure.
But some of them are really specific. For past season, what I can remember first is one little air show, but it was in the town where I was born. So it was really emotional for me to fly just ahead my family and friends, and of course many people. But it was really interesting for me for that. But mainly for the whole team, specific dates have been, of course, the Air Tattoo, because it's a big air show in Europe. And finally, what I can say, yes, we flew in Croatia, in Zadar. It was really nice because we met Krille Oluja, so it was a really good mission, of course, for that. And what I can say to conclude a specific air show, sometimes we had a really good feeling with spectators. So sometimes you don't remember the flight, but you remember what you had on the ground with the people, because after each flight we go on the ground to share hands, to speak with the people, to say to them, okay, come in the Air Force, you can do the same job like us, so don't be afraid. And sometimes you really meet good people, and you can remember it for a long time.
Yeah, that is a wonderful part of it, to just be a human behind the uniform. I mean, they look at the paint scheme, they look at the jets, they look at the smoke, and they see the uniform, and then you could talk to them, sign a poster for them, and just interact. It's a critical part of the display team, and you do a good job to promote.
It's really important for us to honor that.
And so I put up a picture there of flying over the water you sent me for Brittany, and another shot here of flying. You can see this coastal crowd here, and the people are in the water. If you zoom in closely, just about every single person has got a camera out. They're in the water. They're loving this display, and the Sting display, the DAR And tell us about air shows that are flown over water and how that would change the way you approach the show.
It's really specific and dangerous to perform an air show overhead the water, as you can imagine, because our low key point is 300 feet when we are at the H-seat formation, and when the solo performs the cross, they cross just in front of the line. They are flying at 100 feet, just above the ground or the water. So we are quite close to the ground or to the water. So the main danger when we are just like in the beach and etc. is that once you are over a flat water, really flat water, and with a sunny day, it's really hard to feel the altitude you have from you to the water. So we don't change our way to fly, okay? Because the way we do is it's always the same, to be the more precise we can, of course. But we know when we take off from over a water air show, we have a little highlights during the briefing, of course, and in the aircraft to okay, believe your altimeter, believe your parameters. Don't only feel the altitude you have, because sometimes you will be wrong, and it can be very dangerous. So before the season, we only have 1 week dedicated to this type of training, and we go in Corsica. We've got an airbase located at Solenzara, so middle east of the Corsica, and we perform 10 flights overhead waters to be able to feel this kind of danger, of course.
Okay, great. Thank you.
It's really important for us.
It is. It's tricky to fly over water anywhere, but now you've got these vertical maneuvers and observing the base height. Glad to hear that you have dedicated training for that. I want to put another video clip up now of a US tour before you were in the team, but a great photo. Let's have a great video. Let's have a look.
Athos check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Minutes.
Well, Sam, I know you weren't part of that tour, but it does epitomize the type of flying you're doing. Just wonderful to watch that, wonderful scenes. Tell us about flying this Alpha Jet. Is it a forgiving aeroplane? What is it like? It looks to me like you strap this on like an old leather jacket. It just fits perfectly, and you snug.
the Alpha Jet is a very, very good aircraft. First of all, because he's really safe. Okay, you know, really, really safe. If you lost control, you only have to release the stick and to put idle, and you will stop his loss of control, and you can recover it. So it's really, really we are really confident in the Alpha Jet. And so we use this aircraft since 1981 or 82 as a training aircraft. Okay, we have our wings on Alpha Jet, and we perform after the wing graduation. We perform the first operational mission on it with bombs and gun pod to train like the basic fighting maneuvers and so on. So it's a really good aircraft because really safe. And for the world training of the French fighter pilots, it's a good transition before going on Rafale or Mirage 2000. But now it's getting older and older, as you can imagine. So the French Air Force decided to use now Pilatus PC-21 to train the young pilots. But in Patrouille de France, we will fly for several years. Still on Alpha Jet.
Okay, great. So also by the time your new teammates get into the team, into the Patrouille de France, they've already had the basic training, the jet training, and well, certainly your current team. But going forward, that's going to change. It looks like it's just a pleasure to fly, but obviously it's always there's ups and downs. And you're a full-time aerobatic display team. Your job is to showcase the Air Force. And obviously that's a lot of time away. So talk me through a typical week. What does it look like? You say goodbye to your family on the Wednesday or Thursday, and you'll see them again on Sunday. How does your week look?
Yeah. So during the season, the standard rhythm is to have 2 air shows during the weekend. So we consider that we have to train on each site we are supposed to fly our air show. So if we have 2 official air shows during the weekend, we must train and fly 2 times on each site before. So the standard rhythm is to take off from salon-de-provence on the Thursday. We go on the first site of the air show, we perform 1 training. Then on Friday, we go on the second site and we perform a second training. For the Saturday, we stay on the second site to perform the official training. And on Sunday, we go back to the third site. We train on Thursday to perform the official air show. So, and on Monday, we go back to our home, to our home base, salon-de-provence. But this is the standard rhythm. But sometimes you can have, of course, another site. Or sometimes you can have official flybys. And sometimes one flyby can be more stressful or demanding demanding efforts more than an air show, as you can imagine. If you are very important people, for example, I can remember last year we performed a flyby for the 6th June overhead President Macron and President Trump. So as you can imagine, we are forced to be more accurate, of course, on the timing and on the track. So that's it. But the standard rhythm during the summer is to have only 2 air shows during the weekend. So we go from Thursday to Monday. And when we go back on Monday, so we debrief all the weekend, we prepare the next one. On Tuesday, it's like a free day, Wednesday as well, but as a leader, I will have many works this summer to anticipate some things. And on Thursday, we go back to the aircraft and we continue the weekend and the season.
Okay, well, it sounds like there's definitely hard work. Obviously, there's a different rhythm to your normal Air Force pilot. Your family might not be used to that, getting into it. And you do your season of 2 or 3 or 4 years in the team. Wonderful experience. Obviously, there's a bit to give and take there, but I can actually remember I was sitting on a trip. I can't remember which hotel I was in, but last year with that Macron and Trump, I was watching live on TV, and it was wonderful to see that. So I want to put up a picture here of the smoke. I mean, that's the dial formation you talked about, but that nice bright. You got a bold flag. You've got a bold smoke, and it ties in nicely. It really is nice to be able to to showcase a big team. It makes a nice display. You got nice colored smoke, and certainly very patriotic as well.
Mm.
For the last little video I want to share with you guys, this is now a bit of a highlights package of 2019 tour. This is when Sam, you were flying in number 4 in box. So let's have a look at this little video.
Yeah.
This could be the moment we've been waiting for, the chance to feel alive. Nothing's gonna stop us, nothing's gonna top this, nothing like we've ever seen. And I raise my hands to the sky, what a feeling. 'Cause I feel like dancing high, got a feeling. Time to feel it. This is where it all begins.
The Abyss family.
This is where it all begins, 'cause this could be the best day of our lives, yeah. This is where it all begins. Burning like a light show, free yourself and let go, time to see it all. Don't think about tomorrow, today we are heroes, here adventure call. There are whole new worlds to see, I keep running.
Oh, Sam, you obviously featured in a lot of those clips there, or all of those clips are beautiful. Formation with the aerobatics, the extras, with the Breitling jets, with the Airbus family, with jets. Oh, what a wonderful compilation. And once again, all these videos from your official site on YouTube, you guys can see it in the description, and go and have a look there and support them too. Talk us through your time last year, the various formations all over the place, and flying in the slot.
Yeah, so it's a very specific position in the patrouille, because there's aircraft in front, on the side, and just behind. But you're really concentrated only. In fact, I always had to maintain my position looking at my leader. So first, at the beginning, you are quite surprised to see the aircraft really close to you, but quickly you are really focused on the leader, and you forget everything is going on just on each side of you. And for the guys who are just behind you, you only have to trust them, and you know that if you are not in position, they will take you into account, and they will avoid you closely, and they will help you to maintain the good one. So my only job was to be in position regarding my leader, and not to feeling concerned by everything what's happening around me. It's quite difficult to imagine first, but once you're in the aircraft, you know that it's so hard to be in the good position that you're really happy to not to be concerned by the other things happening.
Sure,
of course.
And the opportunity being in Europe, being a place where there are lots of other formation teams. And you've got Italy, you've got Spain, you've got Portugal, the UK, Croatia, Switzerland. There's just so many opportunities. Have you tell me about some of the nice formation flights that you've done with other teams? Is it any different for you?
So we performed a beautiful, really beautiful flyby with a Breitling jet team, and as you have seen in the video, the aim was to fly the biggest French flag ever in the sky. So we were like a 15-ship formation performing a French flag. So it was really, we were very proud of it, of course. And just for the little story, I was on the left outer place, so really far from the center line. So it was really hard for me because you have many effects of distortion. So the farthest you are from the center line, the biggest are the distortion of the formation. So it was really interesting for me technically, but we were very proud to fly this formation. And the second interesting flight we had with another aerobatic team was at the Riyadh. We performed a flyby with the Red Arrows, and the two teams were in Concorde formations. So it was like a beautiful, magnificent tribute to the Concorde. So the two formations were in Concorde, the two teams were in Concorde formations, Red Arrows in front, Patrouille de France in the rear, and so it was really nice to fly with our friends of the Red Arrows.
Sure, that's a wonderful way to tie it all together, the British and the French with the Concorde as well, the two teams. I saw that picture earlier, it's a wonderful shot. And the other thing that is, people are asking questions about, being in the French Air Force. Do you have any limits? So I just want to address one or two questions that have come up. Is there a limit to an Air Force pilot when you have to stop flying? Is there a limit to an age limit, should I say, for the Patrouille de France? Or how does that work in the French Air Force?
Well, no. In fact, everything depends of if you are a career officer or a contract officer. So for a career officer, as long as you are supposed to be in the operational unit, you continue to fly. And once you are in headquarters, you continue to fly, but of course less than before. But there is no specific ages as maximum to fly. Okay. But as long as you are medically ready to fly, you can continue to fly. Okay. And so, for example, in Patrouille de France, I'm the second youngest pilot. I'm 35, and the oldest got 40 or 41. And so 41, we can imagine that it's quite many for an aerobatic team, but it's Athos 6. It's our oldest pilot here, but really fit, despite his great age.
A great age. 40 is a good age. Don't give the 40-year-olds a hard time.
Yeah, sure.
You were mentioning, folks, if you want to add a question now, as we get to the wrap-up, I'll take some of your questions coming through. People are talking about, the United States being such a big country. They've got a West Coast team and an East Coast team, the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels, etc.
Yeah.
But one of the things you mentioned earlier with the Breitling jets trying to get that big French flag. So the Freccia Tricolore of Italy, they have a claim to have the biggest national flag ever made, and that they measured it with their green, white, and red smoke with 5 nautical miles. Did you measure your flag that day? Are you talking about the smoke that came out or the width of the formation? How big was your flag?
To be honest, I don't know. We were in close formation as a 15 ship formation as an arrow, but let's say it was, of course, less than 5 nautical miles. Though, so the Freccia Tricolore still has the world record of the biggest national flag in the air.
Okay, well, we can put down a challenge. Maybe you go for the bigger one. Once you guys get out there and start flying, there's a challenge for you guys. Also, it was a pity we didn't get a chance to get together last year when I was in Toulouse, but maybe sometime in the future we'll get a chance to come visit you guys down in salon-de-provence. It was lovely. It would be lovely to meet up with you at your headquarters. But Sam, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciated all the insight and all the sharing of the stories. I'm sure the listeners had a great time too. And I wish you all the best for the unlocking and when you start your airshow season. All the best for the new team and the new display.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining the show. It was wonderful chatting with Sam Lanos from the Patrouille de France. Some exciting guests coming up in the next few days. Please remember to share, like, subscribe, and add some comments down below here so we can keep the information going strong. And please remember, stay safe out there.